Well, good morning. Please excuse me reading my short speech. Of course, words always matter, but today getting the words just right, I think, is more important than ever. I want to start by saying how deeply moved I am by each of your stories, whether shared here today or through the emails, messages, phone calls and video conferences I've joined in involving people living with brain cancer or who have survived brain cancer, or from those who have been affected by someone else who is living with, has survived or died of brain cancer. Your courage, your resilience and your determination have not just opened my eyes, but more importantly have prompted me to do what I can to try and help. Hearing directly about your experiences, the challenges you face, the moments of strength, and the hopes you hold on to is important and makes a difference. Please never underestimate that, because the raw power of your experiences, especially when shared with policy and lawmakers, can be the trigger for change and positive progress. Things like increased research funding, better treatment, and one day, hopefully, prevention or at least reliable life-saving treatment. Of course, the true burden of brain cancer, both the devastating impact on patients and families and the level of disability it causes, is still not widely understood. But I do want to assure you that your stories are not unheard. They do not fly under the radar, and they do make a difference. Which is why recently in Parliament I spoke of Abby, a bright, adventurous 10-year-old from Tasmania, diagnosed with glioblastoma. Despite 2 brain surgeries and countless procedures, Abby passed away at just 11 years old. At home, at home in her parents' bed in June last year. Abby's story is devastating, and her family continues to grieve daily. But now it's been told and put on the record in the nation's parliament. Now, you all know the horrendous stats, the morbidity and mortality rates, the costs, the burden. But it was Abby's mother, Justine, just like the other parents who've told their stories, some of whom are here today, who give true insight into something which once one hears cannot be unheard or forgotten. Which is just as well, because brain cancer research, as you know, currently receives less than 5% of total cancer research funding and often misses out on essential national programs, including funding for dedicated brain tumour nurse specialists. Many families, especially in regional areas, are forced to travel long distances, sometimes interstate, for treatment or clinical trials, all while navigating fragmented healthcare systems and inconsistent financial support. So I want to thank the Brain Tumour Alliance and the Brain Tumour Collaborative for trying to turn this around, and of course for organising today's powerful event. I understand they have 3 key asks of the government, and I'm pleased that the Minister will be here later today, so you can all give him an earful. And I stand with the Alliance and the Collaborative, calling on the government to, firstly, support brain cancer research and clinical trials by investing $200 million over 10 years to establish the Australian Brain Cancer Mission. Secondly, to invest $8.75 million to implement a national brain cancer care coordinator framework, including 23 specialised nurses. And thirdly, to sustain and scale the National Advocacy Service with $1.175 million in dedicated annual funding. In closing, can I just say to you all, your strength, your honesty and your determination to share your journeys has deeply resonated with me. Please regard me as a friend and ally who will look out for your interests in particular the urgent need for increased research funding, better clinical care, expanded access to clinical trials, and real support for families living with this disease. Thank you all for your courage and for trusting me with your stories.